Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Rewind by Affinity Streaming Podcast. I am Contrell, joined as always by my guy Charlie. How are you, Charlie?
Pretty good, I guess.
That's great, Charlie. Glad you're pretty good. Today's movie is From Dusk Till Dawn, 1996, American horror action film, rated R, runtime of 1 hour 48 minutes, and spoilers are ahead. But before we get started, please guys get in touch with us on our socials. They are at Affinity Streaming Podcast on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. All right, From Dusk Till Dawn. Charlie, is this a first watch or a rewatch for you?
Oh, for me, this is a first watch.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'd heard about this movie before, and so I knew going in it was a vampire movie. But that's basically all I knew. I knew it was something to do with a bar and there's vampires, and that's like all I really knew about it.
Nice.
What about you?
This is a rewatch. I don't remember when or where. Definitely not in theaters. Probably somewhere on. I saw it on Max this time, but before I don't remember. I just remember like wanting to see it after, like probably after I had gotten into Quentin Tarantino movies.
Yeah.
Directed by Robert Rodriguez.
So he wrote this movie, right?
He did the screenplay, yes, by Quentin Tarantino.
Okay.
Story by Robert Kurtzman and directed by Robert Rodriguez, who, if I'm not mistaken, did the Spy Kids movie, which I'm sure you've seen. Okay.
Yeah. And the Machete movies.
Machete's movie. I haven't seen any of those.
I've seen only the first one, I think. I didn't. There's like 4 or 5.
And he was in that movie. Danny Trejo is in From Dusk Till Dawn. So
yeah.
And he was also in From Dusk Till Dawn 2, which I've never seen. For Miramax, starring George Clooney, it has a critics 63%, an audience of 76%, and a 6.6 on Film Affinity. All right. Released in the U.S. on January 17th, 1996.
Oh, January. It's kind of they had no hope in that movie, I guess.
All right. Excuse me. So, what's that? Miramax is what Miramax Films, distributed by Miramax Films.
Okay.
All right. Budget of $19 million. Box office of $59.3 million.
Okay.
So was George Clooney famous at this time or no?
I'm pretty sure he was, because he seemed like the odd one out, where he's like very recognizable. Let's see. I'm gonna Google George Clooney right now.
All right. Yeah. When did he? I guess he was in ER. That's when he got super famous. But I don't know when that started.
I have to.
So he plays one of 2 brothers who are fugitives. Yeah. Seth and Richard. Richard played by Quentin Tarantino himself. Yeah. So I guess we started in a liquor store. I wasn't sure if they were holding up the liquor store or they were just getting gas.
I think no. He said later. Oh, I sent you in just to get. We were supposed to just get. I forget what, like gas or whatever.
Oh, and he ended
up yelling at him after they were like walking out when it was blowing up.
Right.
So they were supposed to just stop and get like one stupid little thing, and he just flipped out at the guy because he's like, "Oh, he knew," and it's like, I mean, just looked at him properly.
But you know what? That's we're going to start with positives first. We'll go with positive. So, they get into the shootout at the liquor store. They end up burning it down. Yeah. Then they head off to a motel.
Yeah, that scene was pretty good.
I enjoyed the guy, the stunt guy with the fire on him was pretty impressive. Like,
yeah,
in the thing when he set the guy on fire.
I guess that bit in the liquor store feels very Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah,
where it's like the like back and forth, and then like the kind of like shootout while the guy's on fire still.
And if you had known that like it was a vampire movie, it really wasn't heading that way. It would just seem like a heist
Yeah,
chase
yeah.
movie, which was pretty
I,
cool.
I wanted to ask about that. Like, do you know how that was advertised? Because like I knew it was a vampire movie, so for me it was like, okay, where are
I'm
these
pretty sure it
vampires?
was advertised as vampires. Like it was just,
Yeah,
but I feel like they could have. I feel like if they had hidden that part, people would have thought
yeah,
it was corny. So I feel like they had to let you know up front that it was vampires.
maybe,
Maybe
but it's kind of like a. I don't know. I feel like it would almost have worked better if it just like wasn't.
if they didn't reveal the vampire part in any
Yeah,
of
yeah,
the
because
media
it
or
just
trailer.
comes up out of like nowhere.
Yeah, I feel like
Yeah, because it takes so long.
that's a good point, but I feel like it would have been um less well received if vampires weren't up front.
Yeah, yeah. I think. Well, we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves a little bit, but
Yeah.
maybe if it would have worked better if they like there was some hints that vampires were like in the movie. You know,
Yeah,
like
there was
oh, like
nothing until like an
yeah, like
hour
maybe the
in.
cop is telling the guy in the liquor store. Maybe he's like, oh yeah, and there's these cases like of people having like coming like dead bodies with no blood in them. It's crazy, right? It must
Yeah,
be
that's
those
a good point.
cartel guys in Mexico, something like
Yeah,
that.
that's a good point.
Just a bit, and you go, oh okay, something.
Yeah, they didn't. They didn't.
Yeah, just
Like,
literally nothing.
um, so they after they burned down the bathroom. I mean the rest stop or whatever it was.
The liquor
They
store.
stopped at the liquor store. Yeah,
I guess the
they
bathroom burned down too,
the
but
bar. Yeah, yeah. They go to this hotel motel.
man,
I'm just gonna say right now. My wife has forbid me from staying in any motel that has a door to the outside. It has to
oh really?
be it has to be a building with a hallway and doors, not a street side motel where you can
Wow.
just open your door to the street. So
Why?
because of
For
things
that
like this,
reason?
because bank robbers may find you and make you go to Mexico.
Yeah, but they had a room, so they would have been allowed in those hallways too.
Yeah, I guess.
They would have had the key card to get in anyway. So
Yeah, I guess, but at least you could have knocked and looked through the peephole. I don't know, whatever. I don't stay in motels. That's the moral of the story. All right. So they grab this family
yeah,
with Juliette Lewis, Harvey Keitel, and Ernest Liu.
man,
Jacob, Kate, and Scott Fuller. They're in a Winnebago RV. They're heading
man.
to. Did
The
they ever
guy,
say
the
where they were
dad's.
going?
I don't know. No, they're just around. He's just. I think his wife died, and he's like, I'm done being a priest. He's a priest who's lost his faith.
He's
I
lost
guess
his
that
faith.
comes up a lot in like vampire stories or monster stories. It feels familiar.
Yeah. Oh, one thing I want to bring up
It's
that
fine.
we
Nothing wrong with that. I do like that kind of trope about lost faith and if they can regain it or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. Before we get to that, though, I did have a problem. This is one of the problems I had with.
Yeah,
So they have a bank teller in the trunk,
yeah,
and George Clooney goes off and leaves, obviously, psycho brother with the bank teller,
yeah,
and he comes back and she's dead. But George Clooney should have known. Like I feel like he couldn't get mad at Quentin Tarantino. He knew that the dude was going to do that. He knew, right?
basically. I don't know why he thought
So
the
he
son
can't
would do
get mad when he got mad at him. He came back. You knew he
Yeah,
was going to do that. You sent
yeah,
him into the store. You knew he was going to cause trouble. Like
yeah,
I
exactly.
feel like George was enabling. I keep calling him George Clooney. George Clooney was enabling him. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. All right.
Like I don't know. Because he loved his
He loved his
little
little
brother.
psycho brother. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So if you didn't want to cause a ruckus, you wouldn't have left that guy
yeah.
with that person.
Yeah, they kind of address it like slightly where he's like, "Do you think this is my fault? Like this is what I do?" It's like in a different movie they might have explored that a little bit and like, oh, does he
Yeah.
like blame himself for his brother being like a nut job? But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not really important for this movie, but
Yeah, not
I was like,
important, but I
I
feel
thought it was
like it wasn't like he shouldn't have been shocked when he came back that the lady was
yeah,
anyway.
yeah,
Um, but Quentin Tarantino in the Winnebago did have a funny line. Juliette Lewis asked him what's in Mexico, and he said Mexicans. I just
yeah.
thought that was hilarious. All right, so they end up at this bar, the
Oh, but
Titty
Quentin
Twister.
Tarantino's being a total creep the whole time too.
Yeah, he's being creepy the whole time. Yeah, the
Yeah,
entire
and
time.
this is another one that I was thinking of Palo Alto, right? Where James Franco sleeps with students and then writes a movie about where he sleeps with students. And Tarantino's kind of a creep, and he writes a role
About
for
him
him where
being
he
a
could be a
creep.
creep. Yeah. And he has like known for having a foot fetish, right? And so in the bar, there's that scene where there's literally a hot lady puts her foot in his mouth. It's like,
And pours
okay,
the liquor down.
yeah, it's like, okay, come on, that's just, man, just.
Would you let Salma Hayek put her foot in your mouth and pour whiskey down her leg?
I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. That's what she wanted. But the point is, I wouldn't write it. I wouldn't, as the writer, I wouldn't write that scene for me to do. That's
in the
just,
script?
yeah,
Yeah.
that's just, ew. That's just
All right.
gross.
That's
We're gonna
funny.
pull that. We're gonna call that pulling a James Franco. No.
Yeah. I also thought at the bar, George Clooney was being kind of a jerk. I mean, like, if you're you're American in Mexico, you're just gonna roll up in the Mexican bar and start making demands and being the tough guy. I just
Yeah,
felt
good thing
like,
they all spoke English.
yeah,
It is right at the border. It is basically
it's
at the
right at the
border.
border. Yeah, it's a little
So
close to the
that's
border.
probably a lot of English.
And they had a diverse cast of strippers, so they had to have English as the main language. You know,
Yeah.
he said they had blondes and black and whatever.
Yeah.
I just felt like he was being a tough guy in there, and that's not how you go into a place if you want to lay low.
Yeah. But oh my god,
But
I thought it was like ridiculous. He's like, oh, the bartender guy's like, oh, you can't be in here. It's only truck drivers and
and
bikers only.
bikers,
The guy's like, oh, I have, that's my RV out there. That's basically a truck. It's just like, and he's like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like, why was that? Okay. I liked that. It was just like a bit absurd. Just
yeah, it was absurd. I'm gonna so I don't remember what happened. I guess the guy, the MC from outside, who was played by Cheech Marin, who played like 5 different roles in
yeah.
this movie. He he gets mad and brings his boys back in and say, "Oh, that's the guy that hit me."
Yeah.
And I guess that's when they turn to vampires because Quentin Tarantino's bloody duct taped hand.
Well, he stabs him in the hand. There's blood everywhere.
Stabs him in the hand, more blood, and then that's when the vampire reveal happens.
Yeah.
And then it's basically just 45 minutes of fighting and burning vampires. Well,
yeah. The initial fight that breaks out is pretty fun. Where it's just like chaos everywhere and all these different things going on. And you had, what is it? Good old sex machine. Like, how does he even control? He has a gun where his like
with his
right
crotches.
His crotch.
Yeah.
So how he's controlling it, I don't know. I guess with his dick, right?
He's got some kind of trigger. I don't know.
Does he? No, he's just. Does he?
I don't know.
I think he's just looking at people and it just.
He just looks in and it pops up. Yeah. Okay. Sex Machine does mutate into a large rat creature at some point too, which is pretty cool.
And then, I don't know the other character's name.
Which one?
It was like Frost.
Frost was played by Fred Williamson.
Yeah. Do you know Freddie Williams? Like, have you seen his other movies?
Yeah.
I haven't seen any of them, but
I believe he was Shaft, right?
Was he Shaft? I looked it up.
So.
I didn't see Shaft in his
Maybe
list.
he's not Shaft. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. No, I don't think that Shaft. I think Richard Roundtree was Shaft.
He's in a bunch of those
Black Caesar. Yeah, he's in a lot of he was in a lot of blaxploitation movies.
Yeah.
The Hammer.
He in this one he was great. I mean he
was really good.
Yeah, like I could tell I could tell just watching this movie that he's been in this kind of role plenty of
Yeah,
times.
he was very
He was doing it
comfortable.
like perfectly, like that
Great at the
exact
hammer.
tone of like I don't know, a little goofy, but also just so cool and badass.
And former professional football player,
Oh,
Fred
really?
Williamson. Yeah. I would say he was probably my second favorite character in this movie
Not really. Who was your
to
first?
Salma Hayek.
Oh,
Yeah.
come on.
I
Oh,
guess Juliette Lewis was good too.
yeah.
She was good too. I felt like Harvey Keitel was just mellow in this performance, and he was just like a little dry, but
Yeah.
he's great, so I can't talk bad about him.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a couple questions I have. Were you rooting for the vampires, or was it just me?
I wasn't rooting for the vampire. Like I liked that family.
You like you were rooting for the family to be saved, but I wasn't rooting
Yeah.
for George
I was
Clooney
rooting
and
for like Sex Machine. I was rooting for Frost.
yeah, I wasn't rooting for Quentin Tarantino and George
No,
Clooney.
thank God he died. Jesus.
Yeah,
Man, like they didn't give George Clooney really any redeeming qualities either. It's like what?
I guess his redeeming quality was he didn't take Juliette Lewis with him at the end, and he gave her money.
Well, I don't not just that, but it's just like he wasn't so shitty, but it's like I don't know, give him a little bit more. I guess they tried to make him like, oh, he's like the honorable thief guy, but
Yeah, but you know what? He wasn't because
yeah, he was letting his brother run
he was
wild.
letting his brother do all this stuff he wanted to do. He let his brother run wild. You're
Yeah,
right. You're
yeah.
absolutely right. Yeah, I was rooting for the vampires. Another question I have, Charlie, if you're running a vampire bar,
Yeah.
do you make all the tables out of wood and have lots of like just wood things laying around? And was the chandelier made out of wood? Like it just felt like there was
Does it
all this wood
does it
around.
have to be wood? I wasn't.
I thought it had to be wood
I don't know.
because they shot the vampire several times and they got right back up. So
That's
a
true.
chandelier hitting her, unless it pierced her heart, wouldn't have killed her.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. I guess not.
Like if I'm a vampire, I'm putting metal tables maybe, or like
Yeah, tables that don't break.
tables that don't break. Not a lot of wood tables. Obviously, they have a lot of fights in there, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
I'd have some sturdier tables. Maybe aluminum tables. Do they make some plastic folding tables?
Well, plastic will break too. You
Yeah,
get one
but
of
at
those
least
big
it's
heavy
cheaper to
guys falling on
replace, and it can't kill you. It's just like
it.
Superman owning a bar and having a bunch of tables made out of kryptonite. Like, whoa, makes no sense.
Or Batman having a bunch of tables made out of his pictures of his dead parents.
Exactly. It had and George Clooney. I just felt like even before they found the storeroom in the back, he had like an endless supply of bullets. Man, he was just like
Yeah.
they were just like boom, 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 and then he just reached into his vest and had like more bullets. It's
Yeah,
like,
he's just that good at reloading, I guess, you know?
yeah. One more problems. Would you have left? I guess this makes more sense, but would you have left your briefcase full of money in the RV?
Well, you don't bring it into the bar. That's like crazy, right?
I don't know.
I would leave it in the RV. Like for example, like I'm just thinking like I would if I had something valuable, I wouldn't bring it into like this skeezy bar where someone might beat me up and steal it.
Yeah, but then they would also. You don't think your car would get broken into? I guess in
Well,
the
it might,
'90s.
but like you're not. I guess you're just hoping that they don't. Like if you have it in your hands, it's like it's more sure.
Hey, what's in that briefcase?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, I guess
If it's
hiding
hidden
in the
away, it's
RV
less likely. Like it's
was the
a
correct
beat up
thing to do.
shitty RV. What are they gonna find? You know?
Yeah. Okay. All right. And the border. Do you think you could have gotten away with hiding two people in the shower as you went across the border? I don't know how strict the border search is. I've never
that RV
been.
shower was a lot bigger than what I've seen. You know, two people.
Yeah.
That
And
was impressive. I did like that scene though. It was pretty good.
yeah,
Pretty
with
intense.
her on the
Yeah.
Juliette Lewis. All
Dude, and like
right,
everyone perving on her, like the border guard
I
too. It's
know.
like, man, poor
And
girl.
that's the thing. So seemed like she was getting jealous at the
What?
bar. At the bar when Salma Hayek was putting her foot in Quentin Tarantino's mouth, she seems like she was getting jealous about it.
No, I didn't see that at
You didn't
all.
see that? All right.
Wow, what are you talking about?
Go back and check that. She seemed like she was upset that he was paying attention to her. And he
I
warned
don't
him.
think so. I mean,
He
maybe
warned.
upset because there's like some lady sticking a foot in Quentin Tarantino's mouth.
All right, you go back and check that out. I feel like she was getting jealous. And she warned him when she was about to attack. She was like, look out. Like, why would she do that?
I don't know, because the
Because
lady turned
she
into a
really
monster.
liked them. Because she had that, what do they call it when you get kidnapped and you fall in love with your
Stockholm
kidnapper?
syndrome.
Stockholm. She had
That's not.
Stockholm.
No. It's because, dude, the lady turned into a vampire, like a monster.
Yeah, but if it was like your enemy, I'd be like, yeah, get him.
Really?
Yeah.
So like a vampire that's like 5 feet away, you're gonna say, "Oh yeah, sure, just kill somebody."
I'm
And
not
hope
gonna
they don't
warn
kill
him.
you.
I'm not be like, look out, get out of the way. I'm like, yeah, get his ass, go.
No,
He
you're
just
not.
kidnapped me and my family, threatened me, put a gun to my head, and I'm gonna warn
Nah,
him that trouble's coming.
I don't know, man. You gotta stick with the humans.
Yes.
So you would just be a vampire. You'd be
I'd be
like,
a vampire. Yeah, turn me. Let's go.
you'd be
I'd
like,
hang
bite
out.
me.
Yeah, bite me. Let's go. I'm down. I'd be a vampire. I get to turn back to human during the day and get
I
to
don't
kill a
think so.
bunch of truckers at night. I mean, Salma Hayek was human.
Oh, that's true.
The whole crew was human, and then they turned at night, right when they saw blood or whatever.
Nah.
I'm down. I'm down with that. All right.
Yeah, but anyway, they have their big fight. They kill everyone in the bar, and then they have to try and board up the windows and stuff. Um, yeah, and then they I don't know. It felt like a little like disjointed, where they're like, "Oh, we'll board up the windows. Oh, we still have to kill the guys, like stake the dead people." I don't know. It's kind of why didn't they think of
Yeah,
that
it
earlier?
was
Like,
all over the place at the
yeah,
end there.
and it took a
Yeah.
bit to kind of finish. But I like the part where Frost is like telling his Vietnam story. Just out of nowhere, he starts like telling it. Like this is going on, and it's just like going on in the background while
The other
Sexy
guy's
Pete starts
changing.
telling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, that's funny.
I thought that was hilarious because it's like such like a I don't know, like an over the top Vietnam story. It's like I don't know, and he was telling it like perfectly, like the classic way. Like I don't know, it's kind of like how the guy talks in Jaws. He's like, "Oh, sharks like a doll's eyes," or whatever. Had that kind of like tone of voice. It was great.
Yeah, this the ending was a little bit hokey, but
Yeah,
like them with him with the super soaker and
yeah.
I don't know.
That's coming out of Spy Kids.
Yes, that's like it.
Or
And Juliette
getting it
Lewis with
used
her
for
like
Spy Kids.
crossbow that she fires perfectly. All of a sudden, that she's a expert
Yeah.
in.
No, but I do like the guy's I guess he finds his faith again and makes a cross out of like a
A
shotgun and like
shotgun.
I don't know, like a pool stick. He's like he's holding
He's
it
just
up.
like
Yeah, and like
people,
shooting.
yeah.
I thought that was great.
Yeah. So Cheech Marin shows up again. Now he's some other character, and he gives, I guess, safe haven to George Clooney. And
Oh, but we're missing the final fight. Talk
the
about
final
that.
fight was just,
It was kind of stupid, right? They just
yeah, it was very stupid.
immediately split up into the middle of the room. Like, why would you do that?
Yeah.
Why don't you just stay in that
Yeah,
hallway?
stay together. Stay
No, just
together.
stay in that little hallway.
Stay
And
in the
shoot
hallway
from
so
there.
they can only come right at you.
Yeah,
It seems like they walk them all back into the main room, and then
yeah.
let's kill them. Like
Why would you do
made,
that? Shoot them from the door. They're just standing there.
Yeah. Or they could have just waited until the sun came out and they had to leave, right?
Yeah. Why? He was just telling them that, like, oh, they're gonna come break the door down. Like, well, so what?
But they didn't. They just like stayed in there. Just like Oh,
because
they're
they
gonna
went.
come break the door down, but they're gonna give us 20 minutes to make weapons and
Yeah.
fill up water bottles and
Why did they wait 20? I don't
yeah.
know.
Why did they wait? And why didn't they just like swarm them? Like, there's no way all them vampires they could have taken out all. There's no way.
Yeah. See, maybe it would have been better maybe if they had like they all had crosses, and then like they're kind of like trying to push them back to get to the door, and then maybe
Yeah,
one of them like. See, if I was doing it, maybe one of them like stumbles and like falls and like knocks the cross out of like two people's hands, and they're kind of like get scattered, and then chaos breaks loose. You know.
yeah,
That would work a little bit better, but as it was kind of like, what? Why did they immediately all split up?
yeah. The final fight didn't make sense.
Yeah,
Um,
I did like the son like his line where he's like, "Oh, I swear to God and Jesus that I'll kill you." That was pretty great. Too bad he dies too, but
yeah, everybody dies except Juliette Lewis and George Clooney.
yeah,
Overall, though, positives. It held my attention. It was a fun ride. It was enjoyable.
yeah,
The negatives, probably the ending. It's a little hokey, but
yeah,
I thought the performances were all pretty good. I enjoyed Juliette Lewis.
yeah.
I enjoyed Fred
Although it kind of
Williamson.
ends with her just, I don't know, she's just like, well, everyone I know is dead. Okay, well,
Gonna drive off now. Yeah,
yeah,
and and the reveal at the end that it's like this big Aztec
temple.
temple or something at
Yeah,
the bottom with a bunch of truck drivers' trucks all abandoned and
yeah.
pretty cool. Pretty cool. Overall, overall with positives and negatives?
Yeah, I mostly enjoyed it. Like so that first half where it just feels like a normal, I don't know, I don't know what you call it, a normal movie. Where it's just I like the tension in that of like, oh, are they gonna get out? Are they gonna get like killed by these guys? That's pretty good. And then when like the vampire stuff breaks out, like the initial fight is a lot of fun. It kind of gets a little worse after that because it feels like everyone gets a bit stupid.
Yeah, yeah.
And then things, yeah, stupid and a little bit hokey, as you were saying, and then this just kind of ends. But like, there's a lot of like fun things, even in that part, like Frost is a vampire, and so he like shoves the rifle like or shotgun like through his stomach, and it's like shooting vampires through him.
Yeah.
Like that's pretty fun. Like so, like
uh,
even when it was like a little bit stupid, it was still a lot of fun, you
it's
know.
a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a fun movie.
Yeah, so like it can definitely have been like a better movie, but also like I don't know, it was basically. I guess I don't know if he was trying to make it like an exploitation movie, you know, like how
I
much he was trying
think
to, and how much he
maybe
actually
I
was.
think maybe kinda he was. Yeah.
Yeah,
At the
yeah.
end. Yeah. Yeah.
So
All
like
right.
it kind of fits, and
I didn't ask you this in advance, Charlie, but give me your top three characters from this movie that you enjoyed. Your top three
top three.
performances, actors.
I don't know.
Who was your favorite character? You didn't have a favorite character in this movie that you were
It
like,
was
oh,
Frost. He was
it
my
was
favorite.
Frost. All right,
Yeah,
Frost
I
was your
wish he
favorite.
didn't die.
Well, you haven't seen the sequel yet, so maybe you haven't seen 2 or 3. So maybe he
There's
comes
three.
back. I believe there's 3.
Oh my
From Dusk to
god.
Dawn 2 and 3. I don't know if they're
Oh no.
sequels or prequels. Just from what I read of 2, there's like 5 bank robbers who go to this bar, and Danny Trejo is one of them. So maybe it's a prequel. I don't know.
Maybe, and maybe they're just reusing Danny Trejo
Maybe they're just reusing Danny Trejo.
because I think he's in like a lot of Robert Rodriguez movies. So
Yeah, I don't know if Robert Rodriguez did the second one. We'll have to.
okay.
We do no research here. We did know we don't fact check here on the
Yeah.
Affinity Streaming.
I did
podcast.
look up George Clooney while we were talking though, and I think this was one of his earliest movies.
Okay.
So like it would have been it was, but like pretty soon after that he did like Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay.
So he went up pretty fast. He must have been like rising and then did this and then was
Yeah.
already working on that other movie.
I feel like this movie may have been popular though.
Was it?
It's at least a cult classic. Like I
Yeah,
feel
yeah,
like
for sure.
it's very very positive.
Nah.
Anyway, I feel like it got a positive. It was apparently the film was banned in Ireland
Really?
for gratuitous violence. That's awesome. All right. It did get nominated for MTV Movie Awards, for Fangoria Chainsaw Awards, Saturn Awards, and a Razzie. Who do you think was nominated for Worst Supporting Actor as in this movie for a Razzie Award?
Was it Quentin?
It was Quentin Tarantino. That is correct.
I don't know. He acted fine, but stick to directing and writing, I guess.
All right. 2 direct-to-video installments, From Dusk to Dawn 2, Texas Bloody Money, and a prequel was From Dusk to Dawn 3, The Hangman's Daughter. Danny Trejo is the only actor to appear in all 3.
Yeah, well, good for Danny.
Good for Danny. And it also created a television series.
Oh, really?
In March 2014, produced and directed by Rodriguez.
No. Don't remember that at all.
Yeah. That was it. That's it. Great.
That's it. We're done. Bye.
We're done. We loved it. I didn't say we loved it. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. It was a good watch.
Yeah,
I don't know if I loved it. Like I think I've heard people talk about it like they love it, and like I don't.
Yeah.
I don't really see that for me.
I think gore. I think people have. There's a gore section, like the Fangoria type people love these type movies. The Shudder. Okay.
I mean,
I think there are people who like liquid squirting out from people onto other people's bodies.
Yeah, that's not gore. Like,
okay,
like a Saw movie is gore.
Yeah,
or like Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah. That's gore. You know.
All right. Yeah,
this is like almost like Goofy.
I don't do those.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up. Next week will be Gremlins, right?
Yeah,
we're doing the Gremlins. Yeah. So please come back, check us out as we do Gremlins next week. Thanks for joining us today. For Charlie, we'll see you next time.
Yeah, thanks,
Bye.
guys. See you.